I'm Executive Director of Forward in the Fifth, which is based here in Somerset, and we serve 42 counties in southern eastern Kentucky. We have a great day planned for you. One of the things that, and I guess I'm going to call it homework here while you're here, is I want you to have fun, but I want you to ask questions. I want you to become engaged in the activities, because the more you're engaged in them, the more fun you're going to have, the more you're going to be able to take away and ultimately help yourself down the road.
I just want to say how exciting it is for me to look out and see the faces of all of you, our students, and the fact that you're here to participate in something that I think is so very important. Let's see, how many of you are freshmen? Okay. How many of you are sophomores? All right. The thing I want to say to you all is, right now is kind of a turning point for you in your decisions of what your future is all about. To me, this whole event that's been planned here for this summit is exciting. And when I looked at your title, the biggest winner, I think that applies to not only every one of you, but everybody in the state, because if you take advantage of today and the information that you're going to receive, if you decide to take hold of your own future, because that choice is yours, then your life is going to be entirely different than it might have been had you not paid attention to today. I love the fact that today is called STAARS, Students Taking Action to Achieve Real Success. We started about 2 years ago with a statewide summit. We felt like that we needed to do something to improve the graduation rate in Kentucky. Not only for you as students, but for everyone who lives in this state and for every business that we want to encourage to come to this state. We brought together students, teachers, elected officials, spiritual advisors, people in business, all kinds of people who came together to begin the conversation about what we can do in our state to make sure that young people like you graduate.
So the things that happen, so if it wasn't for all those things, I tried, because we would like to do something different, but it ain't gonna work for me. There will always be an excuse. There will always be somebody willing to excuse your fear or your failure. And you have to be strong enough not to allow that to happen. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a game. It's a game called Clap 1 3. You know what we're gonna do? Okay, this might be the easiest test you get in high school.
As far as the National Guard, we have several jobs to choose from. Whether you're looking at military police, the medical field, engineer.
Whenever I graduated from Pulaski County High School, you can get a basis for your college degree. I can teach nursing, I train you, you go out in the field, the hospital, then you take a state.
Entire effort started about 2 years ago when we had our statewide summit, Graduate Kentucky, a community approach. And what we did at that particular summit was we invited students and teachers and administrators, elected officials, community people, people from the faith-based organizations, many people who had programs going on in the state, to come in and begin the conversation on what we do to make sure that every child in the Commonwealth of Kentucky is inspired to get their high school diploma. We still have far too many young people dropping out of school. Last year we had about 5,700 students drop out in Kentucky. And that just adds to a population. About a fourth of our population in Kentucky do not have high school diplomas, our adults. So that puts us at about 47th in the nation And that's not a statistic that's good for this state. And sometimes people say, well, we shouldn't be talking about things like that. That's a negative thing. But if we don't discuss the problem, we will never find a solution. And what we're doing is trying to encourage communities all across Kentucky. We took that statewide summit and asked it to be divided into regions. And each region in the state has held an event just like what's taking place here today, and trying to get their communities involved. We feel like that this issue of dropout prevention is not just a school issue. It involves the entire community because it affects the community. The ability to bring jobs into these individual communities, to raise the lifestyle within each community. The higher the education level is, the better opportunities that there will be both in business and the economies and in personal lives. So what we said was we started the conversation in Frankfort, and we have pushed that conversation out all across the state, hoping to get communities not only to do a summit, but to stay involved, to make a plan for their area, because one size doesn't fit all. We wanted each region to kind of figure out what would work, what programs would work within their communities, and to really just engage everything that surrounds our young people, to develop a safety net particularly for the children that are at risk, but in fact for all of our students. I think our students, our young people, all deserve the opportunity to be the best they can be, and we have to help them do that. And what's been so exciting about this one is such an involvement with the young people. Today our audience were 9th and 10th graders. These are exactly the students that need to hear both opportunities and risks. And I have had the opportunity to talk with some of the planners here too, talking about what they can go back and do in their schools, what initiatives they can suggest that might make changes that will benefit not only the at-risk students, but all students, to make the schools more relative to their lives, to try to provide programs and opportunities or incentives for the students so that I would love to see us reach a stage where every child graduates from high school. And, I'm determined to push for that goal. I think it's something that is extremely important to the future of the Commonwealth of Kentucky and its economy. What we've done has been very unique. Other states have been doing work in dropout prevention. But for Kentucky to have done it in the way we've done it, to say that one size doesn't fit all, to encourage the communities to get involved, and for each group to kind of develop their strategy within their region and then send that to Frankfort, and we will develop a general overall strategy for the state. It puts us as a leader in this nation as far as tackling the problem of the dropout and encouraging, we like to reverse that, encouraging the graduation rates in our state. We would like to be the one that shows the biggest change, and I think that will bode well for not only the future of the Commonwealth, but the future of these young people, and that's, after all, what it's all about.
Well, you see all these people who pick their major and then halfway through the year they're like, oh, I want to change, and it ends up costing a lot of money, and it's just hard on them. So if we try and help them figure out what they want to do now, they can start working now towards what they want to be, and it'll help them prepare when they get to college. So.
Well, when they're thinking about dropping out, they're thinking, like, this is getting too hard, I could be getting a GED right now and then just start working now, and they don't think they need college or actually a high school degree. Most people.
Yeah, and people are just in a rush to get it over with, and they don't realize what they're leaving behind when they do it. So this is to help promote awareness or whatever of it.
Well, like the First Lady said about moving the dropout age from 16 to 18, I think that'll help a lot, because by the time you're 18, you're pretty much a senior, and you've already made it most of the way. So why quit when you're about ready to graduate?
Also, I think we could have more events like this. Like First Lady talked about having events in the school, actually, like smaller ones, but I think that would help too.
Like a reality town, to give them a reality check of what's going to happen if they do drop out.
Yeah.
I think it'll benefit because the kids are getting kind of like an opportunity to see what jobs are out there and, you know, how they can go at reaching to get these jobs, like going to college and what kind of a degree they'd have to get, what they'd have to major in. So it'll help them. And, you know, if they don't want to go through a lot of school, maybe they could look at another career that only requires like a 4-year degree. And they wouldn't have to go but 4 more years.
And whether or not they take this as serious, but if they do take it serious, I think it will be very beneficial for them, and it gives them a lot of information, and it just helps them to see what's going to happen in their future and helps them to relate it to back to their own life.